People get stuck when they become self-obsessed. When they become obsessed with themselves, with their self, with their own person. People become obsessed with how they feel. People become obsessed with how they think. I feel anxious. I feel sad. I think I have an opinion about you. I think I have an opinion about me. People become obsessed today. Throughout the 2020s, people around the world have become obsessed with how they identify. Right? The world has gone ludicrous, right? Gone absolutely mad, hasn't it? I'm not even going to say anything. I'm going to remain on the side of political correctness here and all sorts. People become obsessed with their reputation. You know what reputation is? Reputation is just simply what other people think about you. Your identity is who you are. Your reputation is what people think about you. So if you're really obsessed with voicing your identity, you do so in a really silly way, you're going to develop a reputation as being a little bit of a silly person, a bit of a silly human being. So, some people become obsessed with wanting other people to value them. Would you like other people to value you? Yes or no? And of course you're nodding your head saying, yes, I would like people to value me. I would like my children to value me more. I would like my husband or my spouse to value me more. I would like to feel more valued in my place of work. And the question is, well, how much more valuable are you willing to become, my friend? Ooh, little challenge there. This is how we provoke people to think differently. You want to be seen as more valuable. That's great. So what's the problem? You don't feel so particularly valuable. That's great. So what's the solution? Become more valuable. Ta-da! Simple as that. Right. I want to amass great wealth. Do you want to amass great wealth? Or is wealth contentment and fulfillment in your heart, inside of yourself? Some people become obsessed with wealth, with generating money, and this comes at the cost of the connection they have with their kids. Men, guys, they're pretty good at this, aren't they? Compromising and sacrificing their families to make a little bit extra money on the side. And a lot of guys grow old into their 60s and 70s and realise that they spent their whole lives climbing the wrong mountain. So we want to understand this stuff as early on in life as we physically and possibly can to prevent ourselves from having problems later in life that are unsolvable. Because sometimes you'll burn some bridges that cannot be repaired. Sometimes you'll kill some relationships that cannot be re-established. All right, so choose your choices wisely, if that's even a thing to do. For some people, feeling okay is the number one ambition in life. Go on Google, go into Medium, the article site, right? Type in the word happiness, all right? And just have a look, have a browse at how many people in the world are obsessed with happiness. They've made films about this, haven't they? You know, the pursuit of happiness, it's the great American ideal. Why do so many people want happiness? So many people want happiness because they feel so sad. If you think about it, unless you feel sad, you wouldn't want happiness, would you? You don't. It's kind of like, you know, having a tub of popcorn and saying, "Oh, I've got a tub of popcorn right here. Now I could really do with a tub of popcorn, which I already have." It doesn't make no sense, does it? And in the same way, people don't say, "I really want some happiness," because they have a big tub of happiness going on in their life, do they? No, they say, "I want a tub of happiness," because they just have a tub of sadness and a tub of unfulfillment. And that is because of their lifestyle choices, their mindset and their attitudes. So shoot me down, all right? I'm the bearer of some bad news today, haven't I? Self-obsession, all right, results in people having loose plans but lots of nice ideas that tend to equate to very little. And this is why people feel sad. Because they focus on themselves, they focus on how they feel, they focus on what they think, they focus on what they believe, and never get round to adding any degree of value to the world around them. That's a problem, isn't it? So what's the solution? Ta-da! Here we go. We develop a productive outlook. All right? Now, a productive outlook requires us to develop a desire to achieve great things. Now, what I could be saying right now is, Speak to people about their problems all day, and maybe at some point in the future their problems might go away miraculously without any resolution, without any resolve coming into play whatsoever. But I understand practically that when people take responsibility for solving their own problems in life, people automatically become empowered to solve their own problems in life. This I understand to be true. So, do you have a desire to achieve great things? Do you have an aspiration to improve the world in some way? Do you have a desire for your own growth and improvement? Are you inspired by a good future vision? Are you driven by outcomes and not outputs? Do you know what the difference is? Right, so I could say I am a teacher. That's one of the hats, one of the many hats that I wear. So I could be driven by creating 100 training courses this year so I can make lots of money, right? So that would be me driven by outputs, right? I want to output 100 different online training products so I can make lots of money. And if that becomes my focus, there's a pretty good chance I might compromise quality, maybe even my own integrity, just to meet the output or the goal. But if I become driven by outcomes, I have to ask myself a different question, right? That might look like, okay, so what do I want these training products to achieve? So I want this training product, A, on one level, to really honour the life and works of Jared Egan, because that's a good thing to do. Because, without having read his book and many other great books of a similar nature, I wouldn't have the knowledge and understanding that I have today. So first and foremost, I want to honour the great thinkers who've gone before me, because it's a good thing to do in life, especially in an era that values guruism. Men and women that literally create somehow their own wisdom. I don't create my own wisdom. I borrow wisdom and take it from others. That's all that I have. That's all the knowledge and wisdom that I have. The stuff that I've got from others. I'm inspired by growth. I'm inspired by progress. And I really encourage you to become inspired by the same thing. Because if you don't become inspired by growth and by progression, then you might just end up unknowingly becoming inspired by feeling a little bit better about the circumstances or situations that you currently have going on. And that isn't going to lead you anywhere. So a productive outlook in life might also look like being inspired by what wealth enables. Rather than being focused on amassing great wealth, you become focused on, well, what are you going to do with it if you get it? For example, my goal was to amass great wealth in life, but not so I can sit in a high castle counting all my pennies, right? But because I want to build and pioneer a community learning initiative, right? In my own home nation, in my hometown. I'll create a new learning environment that my daughter will be able to benefit from and find value in. Right? That's important for me. It's meaningful. Will I benefit from that? Well, no. But if I'm dead in 10 years from now, then I might have a little plaque on the wall and say, oh, Kane Ramsey started that thing, and that's meaningful. All right? So I'm inspired by what wealth enables. But in order to generate and create all these things, to turn all these desires and aspirations and goals into reality, I've got to be outside of the comfort zone, which means that my priority can't be staying safe or being comfortable. I can't just go and get a job here and be employed, stay in the safe employment zone. I'm going to have to be out in the self-employed entrepreneurship zone and figure out how it is I can generate my own revenues. Hence the reason I create training products like this, to provide the wealth that I need, that gives me the freedom that I need to pioneer and drive the big social projects that I want to drive that are going to change the world. And it all interconnects. Making progress is my number one priority. I don't expect you to care what my priorities are, but I guess that what I can do right now is provide you with a mirror that you can compare yourself up against. What would your life look like if making progress became your number one priority?